everybody, what is up? My name is Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and we'd like to welcome you to TerreDice.
Today we're looking at a game, Land vs. Sea, which you're thinking, I know what's going on here, right? It's 2-player head-to-head, 1 player's land, 1 player's sea, got it. But no, this game is a whole lot more than that, and we're gonna tell you why right now. In a 2 or 4 player game, 1 player or team will take on land while the other will take on sea. Now players will start by drafting 2 tiles each from stacks next to the scoreboard. These tiles are double-sided and will contain land and sea features, and in some case, player actions. Now, even in team-based 4-player games, only the player holding the tile may look at the bottom half of that tile to see what you got on the other side. Players will take turn placing their double-sided tiles on the table, land gaining points for completing land areas, and sea gaining points for closing off waters. Now, the players who complete that feature will also gain additional points for the crosses that you see on those tiles. So when you complete land and it's got some crosses in it, those points go to whoever completed it, not necessarily land. Now, once that player has placed their tile and they're all done with their turn, they're gonna draw back up to 2 tiles and begin again. Some tiles that a player places are gonna have actions on them that allow them to either play again or steal a tile from another player.
Now there are several modules to the game that when you put them all together, they will complete your land versus sea experience. Yeah. Mountain ranges and coral give points to land and sea respectively. And caravans across tiles give points to land or sea based on if there are more wagons or boats. Waypoint markers can also be used for a 4-player game because you're not allowed to communicate out loud what tile you want them to pick. Yeah. So you can put that waypoint marker down to indicate like what you would like to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like a silent hint.
Yeah.
Now the 3-player game is a different experience entirely. The cartographer as a 3rd player is a 3rd adversary who gets mixed into this whole thing. Now they're still gonna earn points for those crosses when they complete land or sea, but now all points for scoring mountains or coral, as well as equal-sized caravans where you got the same number of boats and same number of wagons all together, all those points go to the cartographer.
So welcome to what I like to call Carcassonne on steroids. So at first glance, this game does seem pretty straightforward. You have your land and your sea and you're putting that together. But can be so much deeper and is deeper than that. Or as Jonathan likes to say, it's crunchy.
It is crunchy. It is so crunchy. Okay, she makes fun of me for that, but I don't care. The game is just, there's a whole lot of strategy to it because unlike some of these other tile games, you're really incentivized sometimes to help your opponent when indeed you're kind of helping yourself. Because there are the crosses on the tiles that, you know, if there's 4 crosses inside when that gets completed, that's 4 bonus points. But it goes to whoever completed it, not whoever's feature that is. So if I see she's about to complete a land section that has a bunch of crosses in it, I'm gonna complete it for her so I can recoup like half the points that she was gonna make. So it's a really big strategy point. Yeah. And the 3-player game is just insane too, right? So you do have to give points to your opponent pretty often where it's like, oh no, if I place it there, they're gonna get some points, but I'll get more, so it's worth it. In the 3-player game, everyone's trying to stop cartographer from getting tons of points from just siphoning off everybody else's success, which is like the whole way that character works.
But one of the really things, so I talk about how deep the game is, but it is also how deep you want it to make, which is one of my favorite parts. You can spin, the rule book tells you that too. It says start with just trying to complete land and sea. But then as you can do that, each time you add on different elements, different modules, and make the game more and more complicated. So it's really to grow, you can grow with the game, which I really like.
Yeah, we found that really enjoyable. And my favorite, I think, is the mountains and the coral. I think they're really fun to work with because anytime you place mountain or coral next to each other, you start getting bonus points. You place more, you place more, you place more. You're just getting a lot more scaling bonus points, which is really, really cool. And especially adding in the cartographer adds in an extra challenge at the 3-player mode because you can't even place your own land tiles next to each other without accidentally giving the cartographer points sometimes. Great 2-player game, great head-to-head, but that's what everyone's talking about. So it's also a great 3- and 4-player game.
And adding in those waypoint markers, that really ups it too, don't you say?
Yeah. In a 2-player game, it's just kind of like bonus points. So it's like where you put the waypoint markers, as soon as that feature is closed off, or the tile where the waypoint marker is completely surrounded, that waypoint marker gets removed for a bonus point. It's 1 measly point in a game where you get, over 50, 60,
so
70.
So don't overthink it, because sometimes I would overthink it.
But where the waypoints really thrive is in the 4-player game. Because since you cannot communicate, I'm not allowed to tell them, go over there, complete that thing, we can do it. Instead, I have to use the waypoint marker and say, hey, the bonus point looks pretty nice. Yeah, and you each get your own waypoint marker.
Yep.
So there can be like 2 waypoint markers
and
going on.
Also with the 4-player, there's tiles you can steal. You can actually steal your partner's tile if you think you have a better place for it.
That is really interesting. Yeah. And about stealing, when it gets to you, then you only have 1 tile to work with. But there are cases where you might say, I just need your tile. It's going to be perfect.
So I will say it again, as I have said before, I love tile placing games. And so the components in this game I really enjoy. I really love how tile placing games look on the board.
Oh, you love how they grow out.
Yes,
and they
I
get
love
bigger.
how every single time you play, you're gonna have a new
Carcassonne.
formation and a new map. Yeah, like Carcassonne or Manitou.
Yeah.
I just really enjoy that.
Yeah, and I think the tiles themselves are they're really fun. Like, you'd think there could only be so many configurations of land and sea, but with the coral, the mountain ranges, and then also they put little art on all of them. There's these little like bunny rabbits and knights, and it's like, I feel like that's a Monty Python thing. But then also there's a kraken, a Cthulhu, a dragon. It's just a bunch of just really silly things that show up on the tiles. I think it adds to the fun. A really pretty color scheme.
Color scheme is very nice, and I really like the size of the box. So as you can see there, it is a smaller box, so I really like that because it's not going to take up a lot of room on your shelf. And the rule book is very well done. I really love it when a rule book has lots of pictures. I wish people would do this more. I need pictures.
Yeah, I don't think enough credit goes to the graphic designers who make rule books, because this is a very good one.
Yep.
It is very easy to read. It's super clear.
Yes, because awesome. I think a game, whether you love a game or hate a game, a lot of it is dependent on how the rule book is set up.
Speaking of the rule book, this was a first-time designer.
Yeah.
So Jon-Paul Jacques is his name. This is the first thing he's made, and really did a fantastic job with it.
So who do we think this game is for? I think this game is for everyone because of the way it's designed, that you can go from like pretty simple, like straightforward directions to you can get pretty advanced. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it.
It hurts my brain at the end when you add everything in.
It does.
It gets complex.
Your brain will hurt, but it's also relaxing at the same time. So yeah, go figure. But I think anyone will enjoy this game. This game is published by Good Games Publishing, and it was actually created by a first-time designer, and it is hitting the shelves just about now. All right, everyone, and that is our review of Land vs. Sea. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and click that bell for notifications so you can know whenever we put out a new video. Land vs. Sea is now available, so go check it out. And I think, we were talking about this earlier, this is a pretty bold statement to say. I think Land vs. Sea might have replaced Carcassonne for us, at least in some cases.
I think it has.
Yeah.
It really has.
It really is. So make sure and go check it out. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Happy playing!